you know, if you're starting at 0, then C actually doesn't change.
Just so long as it doesn't.
So you would have to first figure out how the test writer wants you to graph the situation. You can graph it 2 different ways. And then once you figure out how the test writer wants you to graph it, then there's the answer.
So we have to define.
This came right off of that wonderful school name. It's one of those morning type SDA.
Yeah, but see, that I can't
agree with all of that.
Well, we just have to define what y represents.
The test writer is trying to avoid them going to a graph or table and assessing whether they can understand it.
See, and that is not how I mean, but the truth is, you could graph this exact situation starting at 0 and going up. And then C would not change the y intercept. So you could totally understand everything about this, how to graph a line and everything, and still not come out with that answer.
Because the equation of the situation is like negative 4x plus 4.
Right.
But what Ryan's saying is you thought about this originally as just y equals 4x.
Right.
Starting at 0.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, if that's what we want to assess, then that's fine. But if we're just assessing their understanding of what a y-intercept is, I think there's difference.
So just adding 1 through 4.
It's not what it is, but what would change it.
Right, what would change y-intercept?
So that's interesting. C.
Don't catch me leaving just in case they say something.
So what's the thought?
Yeah, I agree with Ryan. I think that if we're going to use this question, it needs to be y needs to be defined.
Like, if you look at answer choice B, it says he decides to read 2 books in the first month. And that first month they might think, oh, that's going to move my y-intercept. Because we're talking about the first. I know it's like, it might be like 1, so we're not exactly y-intercept, but they might think, oh, that's going to move my y-intercept 2 now because I changed the first thing to 2. That might be a...
If we gave them the equation,
Then all things are solved.
Yeah.
would that
I don't think
that would
make
not
it,
help them answer the question?
I don't think that makes it any easier to put the equation. The equation, you know, y equals negative 4x plus 100 represents this situation.
Yeah.
What is the SC? How is it worded? Did we end up A6N?
A6F.
I'll read it. Interpret and predict the effects of changing slope and y-intercept in applied situations.
It's still an applied situation.
They still have to they still have to apply that adding 10 books is changing the life.
You can tell them what y and x are, but don't tell them what the intercept means when you write out the equation.
No. I would say that Chuck has 100 books he wants to read, and he plans to read 4 books a month. The equation y equals 100 minus 4x represents the situation. If Chuck were to chart his book reading with a graph, which situation could change the y-intercept?
I think that was a great thing.
Thank you, Ryan. I like the sizzling clap, y'all. Woo!
That is so in the video.
We can edit that one. No, sure. All right, so let's go. So I feel like we've done the test. Does everybody feel really confident about the test?
Thanks for the test.
I think the test is good. Now I just have to get an extra day or two to. Right? Before we even move on, we've all decided that when we're doing the review, we're going to definitely use the rubrics with the students. And maybe we should have them answer and then put the rubric up and have them score themselves. Or score their neighbors or partners.
Yeah,
so that they
somebody else's.
Score someone else's. And so that might be really important. Really useful. Huh? All right. I think I saw Dr.
She did in that.
At the beginning of the year, right?
Yeah, she did all those things at the beginning of the year. Yes.
Awesome.
Dr. Chris Starford.
That's super.
When we were in the
Edit.
Don't edit that. Oh,
probably speed up the rest of this because class is going to start at 2.
No, I think we should really finish this video and get some people to cover our classes. We're getting a lot of good stuff done here.
The video started over. Juan was freaking out. At 35 minutes, it went to another clip. So he was hoping it's still all here.
I bet it just
Yeah,
separates.
I think it
Right.
does.
35 minutes.
So you ready for the next thing? Because I don't think, like some things we're going to come back to before the final exam, so we don't have to get through all of the final exam, but there are 3 things really. Nancy had this letter that she put out last year to her students. Nancy York, the department chair for the math department, and let me say, she is the most awesomeness. Okay, you guys ready? Seriously though, she put the letter out, and it's cool that she sent it out to her students to tell them, because I think last time we met, didn't we decide that we were going to divide the final exam into 3 parts for students' credit recovery? So this letter goes to the parents to let them know how that's going to happen. And so it just says your daughter's enrolled in, we would want to change it to Algebra 1. If you read over it real quick, and then tell me what words to change.
Algebra 2.
Well, you know, I bet this is how Nancy did
December,
it, but
2001.
at the bottom, you know, where it has their averages, if you have a spreadsheet of that information, you could do a mail merge and put those in there. I'm sure that's how Nancy did it. But if it's not how she did it,
She's so efficient in the mail merge.
yes,
Sure.
then you could do that and it'd be real easy. That's what we did last year.
And it tells you when tutorials will be offered, which we'd have to tweak some of the things. But how many of you are in agreement to putting out a letter to the parents of the students who are failing?
Well, there's homework given every day.
Are you
Right.
actually mailing this though, or are we?
No.
I just handed them out in class.
Nancy York handed them out in class.
Okay.
And she photocopied them and kept a file in case the student's parents said they never got it.
Which they may not. But I
Right,
have a
but
copy
that's
that
on
he
the
received
student.
it. Right.
Right. I told them to give it to their mother or father. Or Nancy York did.
Do we know how their grades are going to affect their overall GPA and standing and stuff? Do we know that yet from the district? With the whole EOC? 15. No.
I'm not under the impression yet that they've made a decision, and because they didn't make a decision prior to the school year starting, I would assume that it's not going to take effect. So if they make a decision in the summer and we get word, that's going to be the year that that's going to really take place. But
That's what we got last year too, but we didn't get word on that until when? It was late spring.
Yeah.
They decided against that.
Yeah.
right.
And they said it would be this year.
They
Am I
did.
wrong?
But no, yeah, they did.
And there's a state law telling them to do it, so
Exactly.
if the district screws up, it's still a state law, they can force us to do something else.
So, but we don't know how it's supposed to
No,
apply, so
but
it's decided right.
I think it would only go to the spring, right? The problem is we won't get those results in time enough anyway. So here's the question though. We have been created a proposed final exam, and I don't think we have enough time to review it today, so I want you to take it home, take it with you. And then here's an old one done in 3 parts. Some questions from this one are on his proposed. His proposed one would still have to be broken down into part 1, 2, and 3 to represent each of the 6-week periods. So we're out of time, and I never want to go over our time period.
Generally, just when you look at it, the philosophy behind it is to give them a test to the standard of the MOI and the EOC, and then to grade and scale it accordingly instead of writing an easier test designed that they can get 70% to pass. Because I'd rather the test be more realistic. They do not need to get 70% on this to be at a passing algebra standard.
And we kind of talked, and we decided that Ryan is going to be the best person to actually create the scale for us. So we said, well, I know that if we want, if we're honest, the conversation was that,
Oh, the scale of what would be the
What would be passing? Yeah.
Okay.
right, but on a graduated scale, because if they get 100 on it, they still should get 100. They don't get any more than that. But we were going by what it's going to finally be on the EOC is a 50% needed, right?
30 should be 36.
Well, it's 37%.
Right, but in 2 years, it's gonna be 50%, right? In the
I
end?
don't have I don't think it's exactly 50.
Next year is the 50s, so I think that's a good number for us to go with.
So if we said a 50 is a 70,
That's
a
a
100
really
is
easy
still a
equation.
100, and a 0 is still a 0, we need to scale it.
Make the
Can
sheet
you do
down.
that scale in between,
Sure.
Ryan?
Yes.
So 50 is
Ryan,
a
if
70?
you- if it's
So
too much,
50 is a
to be
70. No, really, that's no trouble. 50 is a 70, and it's
34
honest. A
fractions.
0 is still a 0, and a 100 is still a 100. We need to scale in between there.
It's a square root.
It is. Square root of 49 is 7, and 7 times 10 is 70.
So you just take their grade and you square root it. If they made a 25, you square root that, and that's a 50. It'll be a 5.
No, she's
That's
right.
the square root
Thank you.
curve.
That's it. Square root of the score times
Yeah. So if they make a 64, you square root it, it's an 8, that's an 80. You add a 0. I've had to do that in my life.
Thank you.
Had some not real.
So, I'm not sure on the calendar when's our next planned meeting, but I was,
We don't have one.
We don't have.
no, we're not gonna meet Thursday, this is it for third. So the next time we meet, we really need to come in, or we may have to schedule one so that we're prepared for our final exam.
We have to schedule
And,
this. This is our last meeting on the calendar.
this is our last
Yeah, so
meeting.
you'll
Well, we
schedule
worked
it.
the PLC calendar so that
It says as
the
needed, so it doesn't
last
tell us what day.
couple weeks, because of all the EOC testing, anyway, we
tell me.
said as needed, PLCs will meet when they need to meet.
We just need to finalize a final exam.
And we need to get ready for next 6 weeks, huh?
Yeah,
Before it's 6 weeks?
yeah.
Or 6 weeks. We'd like to be prepared.
I mean, especially if we're not doing Math Institute, because then there is no day when we come back in January.
Y'all almost sound like y'all want a math institute for a day.
I
Right.
Priscilla said we can have
Edit.
one or we cannot. But I agree.
It doesn't need to be
prepared.
everybody. It doesn't need to be everybody to do a math institute.
It just doesn't need to be on Friday.
No, it will not be on a
No,
Friday.
yeah, well,
It'll be after our
It's
final
on
exam
Friday.
and you finish your grades, and then we'll set up for several of us to come in here and work, and then those who want to come in or have the time or finish can probably come in and help. So we need to be sure before 6 weeks is all lined up.
No,
you have to come do your grade verification.
do your grade verification.
When? What?
Wait, your attendance
Hey
verification.
guys, anybody have a no date on coming back? On when we're gonna meet about the final exam?
I don't have a date, no, but
I want a no date, like, yeah, I
I've
can
been
do
on my
any
date
day
for
but,
years.
I can do any day but in the next 2 weeks. I think by next week we should have a final ready.
Oh, a no date to me.
Tell me what date you cannot meet in the next, you know you're gonna be out.
Can I kill
can
this?
cut it.
Okay.